Asgas witness, Asgas witness, Starlis it is kusket, Starlis it is kusket, Giddy hawks the witness, Giddy hawks the lach.
The Kitsumkalum have been bleeding day and night on account of the way we've been treated. Men on the other side of the world, they are handling our land for us. Why can't we handle our land ourselves? Another thing, the constables and Indian agents, all the money that they are paid with comes out of our land money, and they get fat on it, but we who own the land get slim.
For thousands of years, the Kitsumkalum people settled and lived in the Kalum and Zimacord Valley, Lower Skeena, and the coastal areas of British Columbia. The Laxyuup, as our land is called in our Somalia language, is important to our people as it is the basis of our hereditary governmental system and the source of our survival. In the past, we shared our lands and resources freely among ourselves, and often with other nations. Our people led a relatively peaceful, balanced existence as we governed ourselves through our hereditary chiefs and house system. But change came with the arrival of the Europeans. Change came when British Columbia joined Confederation and passed laws against our people. Change came with the Indian Act. Change came with residential schools. And change came with our Indian reserves, where we were confined and denied access to nearly all of our traditional lands and resources. Once again, a change is coming to the Kalum people, but this time it is a change that we will make ourselves. It is a change that will be our choice and will be good for our people.
Kitsumkalum joined the treaty process in 1993 after Canada and British Columbia finally acknowledged that Aboriginal rights do exist. With this door open, our people were among the first to take the initiative to have our rights restored and protected.
The Kitsumkalum Treaty process has started with my dad, Don Roberts, and Clifford Bolton. And at that time, they were looking to move Kalum further ahead and taking back our lands and getting our culture back.
Over the past 20 years, our people have worked very hard negotiating the best treaty possible for our people. We're now nearing the end of stage 4. It's when our people will soon vote on and ratify the treaty. It's important that all Kalum people understand that it's the land, our land, that's the very heart of our treaty. The land of our ancestors, the land of our people today, and the land of our future generations.
Traditionally, our lands are divided into properties owned by houses that belong to the 4 clans, with each Samoyed being responsible for the well-being of that area and all of its resources. On the northwest side of our territory was the Laxyuup, the Eagle clan. Below them was the Ganhada, or the Raven clan. Along the Skeena and around Kitsumkalum Mountain, the south was lived on and cared for by the Gisbadwada, or the Killerwell clan. And to the east was the Lakibu, or the Wolf clan.
Kitsumkalum lands would have been governed by the chiefs. They looked after their own lands. They looked after the animals in there. They looked after the resources. So they knew what was going on in their valley.
The Ganhada, the Ravens, Charles Nelson was the keeper there for a while, and Gisbadwada Blackfish, it was Jonah Roberts that was the keeper of the Zimacord. Each clan had their territory to hunt, but they don't keep other Kitsumkalum members out. They'll allow them to get, what's available. In each area, there's different foods that's available.
People start moving around in the fall, getting ready for trapping or catching some salmon. In the spring, like I said, seaweed, and abalone, halibut.
Each spring, our people would leave their homes for coastal areas to harvest seaweed and net ulican. Summertime, we fished for salmon and hunted fur-bearing animals such as bear and deer. In the fall, we continued hunting in different areas as animals migrated. We also gathered berries and the autumn fish. Wintertime brought us back to the coast for clam trapping and other seaweed sources.
Our food harvesting encompasses the whole territory. We're still utilizing the lands of the way our ancestors had used it.
It was a great life when I was a child. We had a lot of freedom. But my dad always knew if there's ice in the basin outside, then it's time to move. We moved back to Port Essington. Then about a month later, out to Baker's Inlet. We could get all the foods we need there: salmon, deer meat, clams, and crabs.
It could be made out of like a basket or a wooden box or whatever they're cooking in. So they heat up the water with this and then throw their fish or meat and whatever they're cooking in there. And they carried these wherever they moved.
Pre-contact, our lands covered a very large area. After the Indian Act and the McKenna-McBride Royal Commission, we were forced onto reserves with less than 1,500 acres of our original lands.
As small as these Kalum reserves are, we still don't own these lands. They're held in trust by the federal government. Every single thing we do on or to these lands today must be approved by Indian Affairs.
The good news is that we're right on the verge of reclaiming our full potential as a people.
Our treaty team is very excited that we have successfully negotiated about 112,000 acres of our original territory. This is more than 78 times greater than the current area of Kalum's IRs. Our land reclamation area holds one of the richest natural resource areas of British Columbia. And this land will be ours. Ours to manage, ours to live on, and ours to govern. Let's take a look at these lands. We begin with our current village of Kitsumkalum, or Kalum, as we now call it, just west of Terrace. Here, nearly 300 Kalum members reside. It is a thriving community. As we travel northwards along the scenic Kalum River, our first visit is to Robintown, or Dalga Gillikia, which means the Robin Chief's house.
Robintown is our IR number 2, and it's our historical village where people lived before they lived here. It is a shared reserve with all the clans. All the clans went there to fish.
This village held such importance to our people that we, the Kalum people, have called ourselves Delakalakwa, the people of the Robin.
Niskeel and his Eagle clan were in search of good fishing grounds. Upon reaching the canyon, they found a village with many people. The people took him and his wap in as their own. They showed Niskeel how to make a mauch, or fish trap. One day the people disappeared, and Niskeel found that they had not been people at all, but rather robins, which had taken human form.
Today, Robintown continues to hold significance to our people as we trace our heritage here. With Treaty, we will have the autonomy to expand our community and perhaps develop the area once again, either as a residence for Kalum members or perhaps even as a historic site.
As we continue our journey northward through our treaty settlement lands, we can only begin to appreciate the vastness of our reclaimed lands.
The lands from Terrace to Sand Lake are beyond breathtaking. A stretch of over 40 miles. These lands include our traditional rivers, lakes, and mountains. The Kalum River runs throughout most of this land. On the east side of the river, the ancient Ulican Grease Trail is now replaced by the Niska Highway. The west side remains a beautiful, rugged wilderness it holds the most potential for our people.
Kalum Lake glistens like silver in this beautiful valley. This is the largest lake in our territory, and it has provided our people with rich resources since time immemorial.
Kitsumkalum Lake is important because it's our breadbasket. So we heard that quite a bit. It works. It's a good word. After the treaty, we should have lands up there. People marking out their lands where they want to put their house already.
Beyond Kalum Lake, Cedar River continues its journey to Sand Lake. Although it belonged to the Eagle clan, Sand Lake was a shared Laxyuup. There were hunting lodges on this lake that all Kalum people were welcome to use.
Today, many outdoor activities occur along this vast stretch of land. With the treaty agreement, our people can use our lands for whatever we determine. For example, for tourism, or we could protect this unique stretch of land efficiently through our Kalum Resource Management Office.
From Sand Lake, we travel directly south over spectacular mountains to Beaver Flats, just slightly to the west of Kalum Lake. The Somaliac name for Beaver River is called Lugwakamweekwanks, which means cold water. The legend of our people explains how the Eagle clan inherited this area. At one time, the hunting territories of the Beaver River was the property of the Killer Whale clan. One unfortunate day, a daughter of the Samoyed drowned in the Beaver River, and the Eagle clan was called upon to bury her. Because of this help, the Beaver River area was given to the Eagle clan.
It doesn't matter where you turn your eye in this valley. Mountains lie to the east and to the west. The area is also known traditionally for its vast wildlife. Blueberries, soapberries, and cranberries flourish in this vast wilderness.
As we continue the journey through our treaty settlement land, we travel southward toward the Nelson Flats or Stehodak, where the mountains to the west become even higher and more spectacular.
Nelson Flats belonged to Ganhada, or the Raven clan, and was named after the Nelson family. Charles Nelson Sr., Swilaha, was a powerful leader. He requested to make this area Kalum Reserve, but we were denied. It's appropriate. This watershed once again belongs to the Kalum people.
Today, this land is largely uninhabited. It will remain a sacred and culturally important place to our people for all time.
For AIP negotiations, we've concentrated on the Kalum Valley area, which is amongst the most valuable of our territory, but it is not the only area of importance.
One area that we are acquiring through treaty is our Indian Reserve at Port Essington, or Spoke Chute on the Skeena River. This means where the people camped in the fall.
In the early 1960s, most of Port Essington burned down to the ground and our people returned to Kalum Town. We are pleased that Port Essington is included as part of our treaty settlement lands.
In the fall, we go through Granville Channel, and my dad's trap line was 60 miles long. Sand beach everywhere, and there used to be all kinds of cockles. And just a great feeling to go out there and to camp and start harvesting food.
Today, many of our Kalum people continue to harvest salmon, berries, and many other resources in and around the Port Essington area as well. Upon the signing of our agreement in principle, we can begin to firmly plan for the use of this land, such as our community and economic development requirements. With this close connection to the sea, the possibility for economic development is endless for the Kalum people.
I started fishing with my grandpa when I was 2.5. We go hunting in the winter for moose or grouse. When I grow old, I want to teach my children to be respectful. I'm proud to be Kitsumkalum because I like it, like all the trees and the forest and all the berries and stuff like that.
As we head back inland, we come upon an area of land that we are most excited about, the Zimacord Valley. The name for an important territory in this area is Naganiguig, where they trap groundhogs.
The Zimacord Valley is approximately 12 kilometers long and 5 kilometers wide. As the river winds upward and westward, majestic glacial peaks tower high above each side of the narrow valley. Wildlife has always flourished and continues to flourish in this rich area.
The Gispadwada, or the Killer Whale clan, was in search of food. Near starvation, they traveled along the Zimacord Valley and shared the last of their food supply. As they journeyed through the Zimacord Valley, Heyots and his brothers each took turns hunting with no success. Finally, Heyots' youngest brother came to the top of a mountain. Immediately, a crevice opened up, and he saw a great number of groundhogs. After he gathered as many as he needed, the people were overjoyed at his success, as they were now saved from starvation.
Many archaeological sites have been identified along the Zimacord River, and our people continue to use the Zimacord Valley throughout the 1900s.
Today, the Zimacord Valley remains largely untouched by civilization. Logging ventures have long since ceased, and new regrowth of trees covers the land. With Treaty, we will have ownership of both the valley and the mountains themselves. We are limited only by our imagination and aspirations. As we continue eastward, we bypass our small reserve lands of IR number 3 at the mouth of the Zimacord Valley and on to Hell's Gate, which is south of Terrace. Our Somaliac name for Hell's Gate is Lach Wilsondoyen, or Place of the Gardens, because our people cultured many plants here.
For as long as I can remember, Kitsumkalum people have been fishing over there, and I know there's a couple archaeology sites that are surveys that have been done. They found fire-cracked rocks. They used to do canoe dugouts, where they hollow out the tree and make a canoe.
As part of their policies, the Provincial Ministry of Forests and the Federal Department of Fisheries have protected Hell's Gate for the Kalum people because of its cultural significance to us, and also because of its continued use as one of our main fishing areas. With Treaty, it will be legally protected by the Kalum people for all generations so that we can always access this ancient site.
Finally, we return to our Kalum village on Highway 16 west of Terrace. Our elders tell us that the word Kalum refers to the riffles over the rocks and gravel in the Kalum River. The village of Kitsumkalum is also referred to as IR number 1. Around 1878, the Kalum people moved from the principal settlement of Robintown to this ancient site at the mouth of the Kalum River for economic reasons. Today, we have a beautiful cultural center, offices to house our government and treaty developments, and departments of social service, research, maintenance, and economic initiatives. We are also in the process of constructing a new health building. Our people engage in many traditional activities, such as basket making and carving, all from our land resources. We also continue to harvest from our many resources of the Laxyuup, as did our ancestors, for our survival and economic stability. The people of Kitsumkalum strive to make an economic impact not only on the lives of Kalum members, but on the larger community as a whole. Our Economic Development Department includes many business ventures, such as Tempo Gas Bar, the Rock Quarry, the House of Samoyed's Craft Store, and KVL Logging. Our boat launch serves not only the Kalum community, but other terrace residents and visitors alike. Although we are proud of the accomplishments of our people in this community, we recognize that there will be more opportunity of every kind with Treaty. Once we have our own government in place, we can make decisions for ourselves that will bring positive change for our future. All these beautiful lands that our ancestors managed and harvested from will once again be ours to manage and protect. Certainty will clarify which lands that we, the Kalum people, will own, and will define exactly what our rights are. With Treaty, every decision regarding our land and its use will be approved or made by us. It will assure that our lands and its resources will once again be honored as it was in the days of our ancestors. You will be the leaders in the future. You are so important to this process because by the time we're coming to the vote, you will have your opportunity to vote. The treaty is going to give us our land. So when you are all leading this, when you are all running this government that we will have, then you guys can make the decisions for the land.
I want our people to be excited about the immense size of the territory that we can safely walk upon and say with 100% confidence, this is our land. This belongs to Kitsumkalum. We look after it, and our children are going to come and be able to stand and walk on this part of the land and look out from the river bottoms to the mountain tops and say, that belongs to us.
But after a treaty, you can bloom out and pretty well live wherever you want. That's the main point, I think, is the freedom. You know, the people are going to have their freedom.
Today, this marks a milestone.
In September, we met with Canada and BC to sign a letter of understanding, which will allow us to vote on the AIP in the spring.
I'd like to recognize all the hereditary chiefs that will be playing major role in today on. Treaty is, to have our own government over our land, but we also know that lands down the coast will be included as parcel lands, but not surrendering our Aboriginal titles and rights to the territory of those parcels. Kitsumkalum has a strong historical presence along the lower Skeena River, including areas such as Lakells River, the Salvis, Joanlop, Konitsa, Scotia River, and the coastal regions of Baker's Inlet, Arthur Island, Casey Point, Oxdal River, and Cluckmalls. Our people have always shared resources from these common areas with other Tsimshians. Clams, cockles, crabs, abalone, seaweed, herring eggs, and groundfish were abundant here. The Kitsumkalum people continue to have use and ownership in these resource areas today.
The establishment and presence of the Kitsumkalum villages and camps on the lands of the tribe remain unchanged from the past to the present day.
The signing of the agreement in principle will immediately transfer provincial and Crown incremental treaty agreement lands to the Kalum people. We'll be able to exercise our Aboriginal rights to hunt and fish in our entire traditional territory, as we have always done. Treaty settlement lands will also be held and protected in our name until the final agreement is signed.
20 years ago, our leaders looked down the road and envisioned a better future for our Kalum people. One where we could live our lives free from the oppression and burden that we have lived under for so long. Free to make our own choices and grow as a people and as individuals. Free to own, live on, and manage the lands that our ancestors once did. We are confident that treaty is the very best solution and the greatest assurance that the rights of our Kalum people, the land of our Kalum people, and the future of our Kalum people will be restored and fully protected.
We urge you to learn all you can about this treaty agreement. The more you know about this agreement, the stronger our future can be.
The choice is yours. The time for change is in your hands. Let's create a better world upon this great land of ours, the Kitsumkalum Laxyuup, for Kitsumkalum people and for all time.
We need this next step here to make change. I support the treaty to make that change. I urge the community to take that next step and support the treaty with me. Thank you.